Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sly Sims. You can call me Sly, you can call me B, you can call me B-Ride, whichever of those. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I really don't want to keep my mouth shut on certain things that are happening now. With all these protests going on, uh-oh, okay, I guess that happened. With all cutting overloaded, consider turning on videos and oh boy, alright. He's not encoder overloaded. Uh, the reason why I'm recording this video is for a few reasons. One, all this happening, with all this happening going on, it's not only the protests, and not only the, uh, you know, the disease running around and stuff. It's basically with all this stuff that's happening, the crime rate is going up in New York and even pretty much in California and other states, including freaking Florida, including freaking Atlanta, Georgia, and last but not least, Minneapolis, of all people, because of them defunding the police. There's also people having protesters. Well, actually, I'd rather not call them protesters. These little these little invaders that come onto your property, these little invasion of property, these little people who keep invading your property and other people's property in other states, and also, I guess, certain attackers as well, even Chaz. You guys probably have heard of Chaz, even online, and where parts of Seattle, where 5 blocks of Seattle is what, from I've been told, 5 blocks, which I really don't know how they counted like blocks or anything, to be the point where it's an example of lawlessness in the part in that so-called community, which I doubt it's a community. It's just people stealing property because you're literally invading people's space. You are invading people's space. You're actually invading an area, and you're taking pretty much it looks like you're taking people hostage, because pretty much you got people who live there, people who work there. You threaten people. You got people that are armed. You got people that literally will threaten you out of the box. And you also have a whole bunch of fights that goes there. Yeah, that thing is not peaceful at all. You have a mayor who calls it a place of love, which is stupid, because with all those because it's stupid to call it a place of love when clearly you got a whole bunch of shootings, you got a whole bunch of fights, you got a whole bunch of thievery, you got rape that even had all this crime that hasn't been much reported, except for being reported by individual uh, journalists, which I really do love, as long as they actually get the information and actually get it out there and get the truth. Those are the type of individuals I rather, you know, look at and listen to and watch. Even the ones who even risk their own lives to do so on this. Yeah, it's a tragedy, but it's this is how, if that's how journalism works, you have to get the truth out there by trying to find it, trying to get through it, trying to get through the lies and everything. Even how, no matter how dangerous it is, that's oof. That must be a heart pounding experience. Anxiety running over like nobody's business. Uh, there's a thing that I also want to say as well. Let me add this. That the funny thing is that I keep seeing all these people that are, protesting for, either you have the people that protested for, the death of George Floyd. Those guys were peaceful. The problem is that you had a whole bunch of people that, and most of them are white. You had different types of people who are over there causing a whole bunch of trouble and trying to sway those protesters into try to sway the word try to sway the protesters, the message they're doing with something that the peaceful ones that are doing to something that to another thing that is dangerous and pretty much causing theft, assaults, and I mean, and burning down buildings. Those don't solve anything. I like the protesters that were peaceful, and especially the protesters that called out the whole bunch of idiots that were spray painting BLM all over the buildings. That were literally trying to get them in trouble because they actually freaking did. Because CNN decided to be a bunch of idiots and actually try to try to display rioters as the protesters, which they weren't. The ones who were peacefully protesting that were away from those riots and everything, no, they were literally just they literally painted those rioters as protesters. They are not protesters. They are rioters. They are assaultists. They are absolute destructors of the cities that are even in the black communities. There was even one black woman whose business was ransacked, pelted, glass freaking broken into, and everything had taken. And she just came back one morning, which she was just devastated as heck. She's all right with the protests, but not with the riots and everything. And plus, you're coming into black communities doing nothing but destroying everything. And you're also coming to other communities that are destroying everything, even Hispanic communities. There were even Hispanic communities that actually, even people in Hispanic areas, they were even Latinos, they were coming out and trying to defend their business, and they were even trying to stop people, and again with the daggone coding, they were even trying to stop people from doing other stuff, trying to ransack their areas and stuff, and trying to, beat against the daggone glass. And to be honest, I'm glad those communities were defending themselves too, which is what everybody needs to do, because they're still doing the protests and everything. And pretty much most of them are doing defund the police, and most of them are abolishing the police, which is absolutely the most stupidest thing you would ever do. Take Chicago, for example. Chicago has the worst crime rate. I mean, it's the highest crime rate out of freaking New York and freaking California. But to be honest, I think New York is kind of doing it now, including Atlanta. Probably not the highest. Well, they're getting there to the highs. You still have crime, and still have gang members out there still shooting around and stuff. And then you have Chicago as well doing the same darn thing over and over again, and it's not getting stopped. And pretty much Minnesota, you had what was it? You had council members that defunded the police, paid for private police. Could you imagine the irony on that? I mean, it's so stupid as to what's going on now. And you had two couples that are literally going viral right now. The two couples who were brandishing their weapons, that were in defense. You had let me see if I can stand up. I gotta stand up for this. You had the guy with the rifle. I'm not calling it an assault rifle because unless it was an assault-like manner, then it would be called an assault rifle. But it's he was holding his gun like this, and he had his finger on that trigger. I mean, not that trigger. He had his finger off of the trigger, and it's he had somewhat of a good practice. But however, how it was holding it, kind of like here against the chest instead of like down, that's pretty much a problem. And even the wife holding it like this, just holding the gun with the trigger, with the finger in the trigger, is also a bad practice because it does kind of look like she's literally assaulting. The other guy is literally just looks like he's defending, but kind of has a bad practice. Like they both have a very bad practice, and to be honest, if you guys have weapons of your own, basically firearms, I suggest you go get some practice because even I've shot a firearm myself, but only a shotgun and some kind of rifle. It's some kind of rifle. The one that has the handle where you go up, back, where you go up, back, put in the ammo, and then however many it actually can take, and then forward, down, and then you're ready to go. That kind of weapon. And then you reload like up, down, back, and again. But I've shot it before, but that was when I was 15. That was when I was 15, and I was at a Boy Scouts camp with my ROTC mates and everything, and my instructor. So we were doing that. We were doing the shooting ranges and everything, and the double barrel shotgun that looks like the Olympia. I mean, sure, I've shot those two guns before, which they are considered a long gun. But I've never shot a handgun before, and even though if I know how to shoot those guns before, when I was 15, I can't do it because it was when I was 15. I'm in my 20s, so why would I just go out and buy the same guns that I practiced with before when I was 15 when I clearly haven't had practice in years? It's unsafe. So, and I really recommend you guys actually do that if you do. I'm going to plan to get a weapon. Another thing, the BLM movement. I'm not for it. I am not for that at all. Because what it's trying to do is that I've seen videos from, I haven't seen Young Rippa yet, but I watch Apology, gosh dang it, encoding again. I watched, Apology Studios, and they were talking about Black Lives Matter, and they do have a point where, okay, they were saying it was kind of where they were talking over about the website, on the website and its founders, that they were Marxist. Like, you had LGBT in there, which didn't make any sense for Black Lives Matter, which, why would LGBT be in for Black Lives Matter? Why? Why would it be in there? Why would it be of LGBT for Black Lives Matter? I don't understand that. And plus, it's talking about just getting rid of cisgendered families, like the nuclear family. Like, dude, this is the reason why some black people, I know there are black folks who've been with one parent, some are with two, some are with none. And what I don't understand is that, well, for one, is why would you take away the family? Family is important. You know, you need a father that is the protector, that's also the guidance, that's also the discipline. And you have the mother that's, you know, the care. Mr. Brian? Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to do things with my father. You probably heard my name. Yeah, my name is Brian. If you want to call me that, you can call me Brian. But with this Black Lives Matter movement, I am not all for it. I'm not. Yes, Black Lives Matter, but dude, look, Black Lives Matter, yes, I understand. But the thing, but for a movement for it, no, no, no. For a movement for it, I see that as being corruptive. The thing is, making movements and making an organization. Okay, something bad happens, and then and then people are starting to protest, and then you make a movement, and then it becomes an organization, and then and then a movement comes from an organization, and they try to go with all this for black folks and stuff like that, or other ethnicities. But boy, I don't want to be separated from my family. I don't want to be in a world where families are not there for their kids. I don't want to be in a world where I don't have a family. I want a family. I want to be able to teach my kid, male or female, boy or girl, and that's what I believe in. Deal with it. But that, without families, come on. That's just... I need to be there for my kid. I don't have a kid now, but for my future kid and for future life, I gotta be there for him. And I gotta teach my kid, especially many things in this world that I have learned, even the dangers that are in this world. Racism is like the least of my problems, but it's basically how to deal in a situation where you're in a threat of people, basically a threat such as people brandishing a knife or brandishing a gun, or basically how exactly you're supposed to talk to the police, what you're supposed to do when you're stopped by an officer. I go with, dang it, what's his name? I remember an actor. There was a compilation of certain actors that actually displayed of African American black actors and also black rappers that were talking about how they deal with police, and especially with racism, but mostly police. One actor said, if you do with what you do with an officer. Say, yes, officer, no, officer, are we done here, officer? And I got an example from Apologia Studios about dealing with an officer. When they're stopping you. Let me turn this fan on. It's getting kind of hot. So I'm dealing with officers. So I have, it's like, yes, officer, no, officer, and are we done here, officer? And then you have, stopping, traffic stop. I mean, not traffic stop. Usual, kind of speeding thing. We're trying to, being stopped by the police for certain things. Just if they're asking for license or registration, just don't be like these other idiots that try to question everything and literally don't get their license or registration. Just when when you do have your license and your registration, ask the officer for. I really don't see the reason you should, but I do have to say it, just for them not to get too things to it. Just let them do, let the jobs be done with the officer. And yes, there are officers that are that much of a butt when it comes to their jobs and just do their jobs poorly, that do need some retraining and do need to get some reforms on that as well. But when it comes to talking to an officer, especially when they're giving your license and your registration, ask the officer for permission. Well, tell the officer, where's your wallet, and ask him if you could get it, and maybe ask how can I get it without you thinking that I have a weapon. You could probably. I would rather ask that. I would rather ask that. But, ask that question, and then, once you get your wallet, a license, and registration, and they start asking you, so where are you going? Apologia Studio gave this, you have the right for the 4th and 5th Amendment. You have the right to keep that to yourself. Let's see, what is Fourth and Fifth Amendment? I have my U.S. Constitution book right here. I got this from college. Jeez. I am so congested. Let's see. Rights in criminal cases, is the search and arrest warrants the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. That's the Fourth Amendment. And a Fifth Amendment, rights in criminal cases, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. And if an officer asks you where you're going, you be nice, have some manners, and say, officer, I thank you for serving for this country. I thank you for serving on this road in my state and in my county, but that is none of your business. And just do so with courteous. And that's how you do things. That's how you can do it. I mean, sure, I know people got a distrust for police. I agree with on that one. I'm not much afraid of police. I am afraid of dying. I will admit it. I am 100% afraid of dying. It's pretty much because of where I'm going to go, basically. You know, up or down, heaven or hell, I'm going to be at one of those places, and by my sins, I am going to be in hell. Because I broke the rules of God, and I did. And I'm ashamed of it. I am ashamed of it. But as far as these people going on properties and everything, and also defunding the police, I say these are definite bad times. And also going for these statues and tearing them down. I don't see the reason for that. I see it in a dark path coming on this for taking down these statues. They're statues. They have meaning to it of the history. Yes, history has been bad, way bad so far, bad throughout the years. Definitely. America is an idea. It was built on an idea of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness or freedom. And literally to defend your country. Defend your country, defend your home, and defend your family. Those are the three things that I definitely go for. Defending your country, defending your family, defending your home. And I have the right to defend my home from anyone, even if it's from people that literally try to come onto my street that I see that in a large freaking crowd is very, very threatening to me because I don't know who's in that crowd and what they do. I don't know what these people are thinking because the way they are coming in, the way they came in to that gated community that was private freaking property and somehow got in, and you got a guy in a blue daggone suit with a walkie-talkie. If you've seen the video, you should pay attention to that blue guy. You definitely should pay attention to that blue guy in the freaking suit. Because you got somebody on that walkie-talkie. Because somebody's saying it was planned. Because it kind of looked like it was planned because that guy has a walkie-talkie. So who knows who he's talking to. But my goodness. I am seeing dangers for this right now. And I had seen, I have read the words of one Venezuelan woman who came here from Venezuela, who was talking about the tearing down of the statues that we here have in America are similar to what happened in Venezuela decades ago. They took down statues. Not only statues, they renamed streets, and they're renaming streets. Now, I don't see the point of renaming streets. This is a threat against freedom, and this is a threat against America. I see that because it's literally taking something from ISIS that did, because ISIS was tearing down history in the Middle East. They were tearing down history, and thing is, they're repeating the same thing ISIS does. They're repeating everything that Venezuela has done decades ago, and that's how Venezuela freaking got to where it is now. And the thing is, I'm looking at this, and this is going to be a danger for me too, because the thing is, I'm seeing people being targeted. I'm seeing white people being targeted, white men, white women. They're being punched for no apparent reason, or even for what they said. But some people are saying they said the N-word, which is bullcrap, which I freaking doubt because I don't hear it. And plus, you have people that literally start the video like just a minute after and think that, oh, they said the N-word. No, I can't believe that. I can't believe it until I see the whole entire video, until I actually freaking hear him actually say the N-word, especially with attacking daggone Asia. You had an Asian man that was attacked, a manager that was attacked, I think somewhere near the Chaz area from what I look from. I got that information from Salim Juma from the Color Conservatives. Go watch him. But it astounds me as to why it is so darn stupid and useless for all these people to tear down statues, go deface them, and then you have renaming signs. Renaming signs doesn't do anything. It doesn't. This feels more like a freaking a dictatorship or some type of attack on people and just defacing everything. And I just don't agree with any of this. It's stupid to me. And plus, you got people being shut down and fired for speaking out on BLM or speaking out on certain people because of these companies are afraid of BLM and they just don't have the cojones to actually stand up against these people. And what I find kind of ironic is that some of these companies that were having their ads on Facebook, they're taking them off because of hate, which Facebook does have a whole lot of hate, and they freaking let in Antifa and all this bull crap and all these people making threats to other people for no apparent reason just because they don't agree with opinion. Just because somebody doesn't agree with your opinion doesn't give you the right to go after them, dox them, or even hit them. You have to have a discussion. I'm not going to be your daggone pet and believe every daggone thing you say. I need facts. I need evidence. I need to read both sides of what's going on. I need to see what the heck happened. I need to see how it happened. I need to see what occurred. What exactly was the cause of this. And of course, the encoder blacked it again. Of course, the encoder did it again. Gosh darn, I need to freaking get rid of that. My CPU is overloading like this. It's just dumb to me that I can't get to the point, that it's gotten to the point where America is in danger and we need to speak up about this. And I think everybody needs to stop being afraid to speak up about this, even speak up about BLM. Because even they had to literally get rid of like their co-founders and everything because people were literally seeing them as Marxism. Marxism is bad. If you want to, and I've looked up Marxism, and I've looked up that history. Oh my gosh. Given all this lawlessness and stuff and all this defacing crap, I think we're going to become Venezuela if people don't freaking speak up. That goes for the freaking Republicans. What the heck are y'all doing, Republicans? For freak's sake, what are y'all doing? You're sitting there to stop being comfortable. Get out of your freaking comfort zone and protest. It's just like Tim Pool, gave a suggestion. Go out and protest. Express yourself. You had a woman that was talking to a young man that had an American University shirt. Of course, he had an American University shirt and facing 26th President statue in New York. She freaking told him off, and even all the counter protesters told him off too, because that was not freaking cool. You had a white woman, and then he had the audacity to say, "Check your privilege." Excuse me. Excuse me. Check your privilege. How about you check your daggone mouth and your manners? For goodness sake, I don't know who the freak raised you, but what in the world? If your mother never raised you that way, then I don't know who the freak you do listen to. Because, I mean, some of these kids, some of these people will listen to the most darndest things and will believe in the darndest things, or they mostly do it to try to be somebody. I don't see the point of just being somebody, but I don't see the point of joining people while not looking into what these people are about. Just for example, like BLM, Black Lives Matter movement. That organization, I don't trust at all. And plus, do you guys know who you donate to? I've even seen furries who've donated to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, and then donate to BLM and Black Lives Matter and Take Back the Block or something, or Rock the Block or something, and these other organizations. People don't know who they donate to, and that's dangerous too, because you're probably funding people that are from a party or something, and they're getting that funding, and it's just, I can't stand this. To all the Republicans, get your butts up and actually do something. Go out and protest, but do it peacefully, so that way these stupid media idiots like CNN, MSNBC, NBC, oh my gosh, and all these people that are literally making up lies that don't read into it, that these people literally don't read into. They just see the daggone headline and they instantly don't read it at all. Like how people literally paint Andy Ngo, and then like how they painted Andy Ngo, like Andy Ngo wasn't doing anything but recording and everything, and just getting the, he was a journalist, and he was an LGBT, he was gay, and he was an immigrant, and they pelted him with milkshakes that had cement in them. They pelted him with whatever they had that was literally lethal, that literally damaged him, and definitely got caused some damage to his brain. And the thing is, the media tried to paint him in bad light, but they couldn't, because the video got out and he wasn't doing anything. And so that's why Oregon was going to get sued, which I hope it still does. And you got all these people being attacked for no apparent reason, or just because they either got a MAGA hat on, or who they support, or who they believe in, or what they believe in, or what they are. You can't. That's not how you do it. And I even see all these stupid people that are making up, you should get all these threats. All these threats. I'm glad Trump put these Antifa as terrorists. I'm glad they did. And I'm glad Oklahoma City, good on you, Oklahoma City, for actually putting them in a terrorist charge. Thank you. I wish every other state would do that, but apparently every other state is so daggone scared. And then this is getting out of hand. I say right now, you can peacefully protest by locking arms and standing around a statue, back to the statue and arms around, because I remember you've seen the videos of Catholics, of some Catholics that were just, bowing their heads and on their knees praying to God, and praying for protection and saving their city, and also protecting the statue. And there were people that were going and pelting them and batting every last one of them. They didn't even do anything. They didn't say anything. They were just standing there praying and just, defending the statue. And that right there, that's a protest. even if you get pelted, there's some sacrifice you have to do. Always. And that includes your job. Yes, even if your job doesn't, but even they will be painted in bad light because you're peacefully protesting and they're freaking scared. You're not the one who's freaking scared. You're the one with the gusto who took a hit. No matter how many times you got hit and how many times you got pelted, you are still the ones that will be the very freaking winners if you peacefully protest and you go out and just defend these statues by locking arms and making sure that you protest and get your word out. You have to be the loudest than these daggone people out here that are going out pelting people and beating people and also taking down these statues and renaming stuff and trying to paint daggone streets with Black Lives Matter, and they don't even know what the heck it is. They don't read into it and they don't even know who these people are. I can't trust Black Lives Matter, and I can't trust people who don't give me facts and don't give me daggone evidence of certain things that I should believe into. I'll look into it, but if it doesn't go for something that I don't believe in, or it doesn't go for something that is factual that I find from another source, you ain't got my darn vote. And to Trump, please, for freak's sake, I know you got the federal thing going on, but you got to do something about this, Chaz. And to be honest, I implore you I'm glad you didn't do it for the Chaz thing, because they would have painted you in light, but I wish you did for putting in the military for that thing. But I hope that you guys will defend your country, and I hope I do too, because I hate what's going on happening right now. I hate the race wars. I hate people who freaking go against race and freaking go against people with a different opinion. I'm an individual. You're an individual. I have the rights to my opinion. You have the rights to your opinion. If you are asking me about my opinion, and I have a discussion about it, and you and I want to go, back and forth peacefully, and, just talking and having a conversation, we might be having something to agree on. I might learn something that you may not know. You might learn something that you don't know. And, I mean, it's learning. That's what it's learning. We have to be able to talk, and we have to be able to actually give feedback and everything, and also be back and forth, so that way in an argument we have back and forth, and we have to be able to have a discussion. If we can't have a discussion, what the freak are we? To be honest, I see it as a bunch of darn monsters or slave drivers, for goodness sake, if we just keep bashing people just because of opinions. I see it as a daggone Frankenstein monster just going everywhere, just as soon as you see fire, and you gotta run away from everything or crush everything, literally just because you saw fire. It's like every time you see an opinion, like these people go, opinions, they're a danger to me, they're offending me, your opinion offended me. Why? It's my opinion. You have your rights to your opinion, I have a right to my opinion. Why can't I say anything? I don't see the point. I don't see the point in you tearing down statues, which doesn't make any sense, and you're tearing down history, you're repeating it, and you don't see it, and you don't read. So to everybody who's looking at this video, I'm not paying you guys who understand I'm not paying all the people that don't trust Black Lives Matter, that don't trust the Black Lives Matter movement, and the people who are going to people's houses and protesting at them, and literally looks like they're putting themselves in danger, pretty much. And people who are against the tearing down of monuments and the renaming of streets and stuff. This is not to bash you. This is not only to bash you. This is for an open mic of me trying to come out to literally speak, because I'm getting sick and tired of shutting my freaking mouth when crap is like this happening. You got black people attacking white people for no apparent reason, and they're saying, oh, it did an N-word, and all this he said, she said crap, and all this hearsay. First of all, forget hearsay. Learn from if it says from the person's mouth. If it actually says from the person's mouth, don't freaking bother. Don't give them the attention. If it says from if the person calls you a darn name or calls you the N-word from their mouth, like, just say, dude, come on. Like, dude, come on. You don't have to bring out the N-word. N-word. If you call me other names, I don't care. But the N-word is kind of uncalled for. I would like you call for it. If you and I want to have a discussion, we can have a discussion right now. But if you don't, then I'll be on my way. That's it. That's it. That's like the best daggone thing you can daggone do without punching people and daggone freaking throwing stuff at them and just because they were racist. Okay, yes. Just because the person is racist just because the person's racist does not give you the freaking right to punch him. That's stupid. That's stupid. That's just like the daggone freaking freaking Nazi Germany had back then. You had daggone crap that they do. And daggone people acting just like that. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I freaking did a service to probably some people, especially to some people that literally are calling for people to speak out. Like probably like to walk away. And like Tim Pool and like Louder with Prouder, especially with the part where apparently that Atlanta police officer is being sent on death row because the guy who was drunk in the Wendy's and was going to sleep, and they could have done it another way, but the guy was struggling, and then he fought the cops, and then he took the police taser and ran off with the taser and then turned back and tried to fire, and then the Atlanta officer shot at him, which is a defense tactic because that's what I see. That's what I saw that's what I saw in the video. He took the defensive tactic because the DA, who is it? The person who was in charge of that, who was literally telling people in Georgia that the Atlanta guy, I think it's a DA, who told the court that having the taser is considered a deadly weapon. So that guy had the deadly weapon, and so he tried to fire at him. And the Atlanta officer did it defensively, and he did it right. Which I find so stupid that they would put death row on this guy and literally think that it will appease this mob or something. It won't appease anything. To be honest, the only thing they would probably stop is if they got what they want. The only thing I can see stopping it is if people stand up and finally do something. But usually the one darkest way is that when people actually don't do something and these guys get what they want and people are literally just a slave to all this. And yes, that's what I consider all of this to be a daggone slavery tactic for the little trying to PC police people, trying to shut down opinions, trying to shut people up just because you're not with them, and trying to hit people just for no apparent reason. I see this as a freaking slave tactic, and that's what I see a bunch of freaking slave drivers that are literally freaking trying to make everybody into slaves, just trying to keep people from freaking voicing their opinions and doing stuff. That's what I see it as. That's what I consider when I'm looking at all this crap that's going on. Just despicable. And ladies and gentlemen, if you do have something to say about this, about what I'm saying, go ahead and say in the comments. You have the right to. I am not going to block you, and I am not going to keep you from freaking liking the video or disliking the video. And I'm not even going to ask you to subscribe. That is up to you. You have the right to like, dislike, comment, subscribe to my video if you want, to my channel if you want to, or even like this video, dislike this video, or comment, which I am definitely open to. I welcome it. But I'm sick and tired of all of this. I hope Trump gets his act together. I hope Republicans learn to get off their butts for once and actually learn to take a darn sacrifice. You got Christians out here that are taking daggone sacrifices and are the first ones daggone go in the daggone danger and share the gospel, even if it's the risk of getting their heads cut off, getting stabbed, getting punched, getting shot at, getting hit with an arrow, whatever, getting killed, however it may be, or even getting injured, or even being decapitated. They're the daggone ones that are that are definitely taking the hits by sharing their faith, and they still keep it because they aren't afraid, because they know that if they are to be going with God or Jesus Christ, they have to take up the cross, which is dying for God, dying for God, dying for Jesus, and they take it serious. Like, they're the freaking biggest ones, that they aren't scared of daggone death or anything, because they know God's got them. They know that they're with God and God is with them. I said my piece. I hope you guys say yours. Especially do a video for one too, and not be scared of your daggone face on there. Especially if your daggone boss, if your boss literally tells you, fires you just because you spoke out on this stuff. I think bosses shouldn't be scared to say what they need to say about certain things, especially when it comes to Black Lives Matter movement, especially when it comes to certain things, certain other things that are controversial now that really shouldn't be, and it ain't. Just people using you and basically driving you to be make you their slaves. And I hate that. I hate people who daggone freaking make it about race. And to be honest, apologies to it was right. Whoever makes race, that's hell to daggone pay, and that's a burning freaking hell, burning the daggone fires of hell for that, and that's daggone damnation. Stop making it about race. Stop it. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.